People fall in love for the most random reasons, but when they separate, it's usually an ironclad list of hard evidence why they can no longer be together. I feel like it's been me and my perfumes lately. I've got 7 empty bottles to show you today. Among the army of decants, some new, some things I fell in love with, some things I fell out of love with, and some non-negotiable staples in my perfume collection that I have to repurchase time and time again. Welcome to Last Drops. Let's take a closer look. All right. Okay. Where are we? Bathworks body lotion. I have only one. I'm working through quite a few of my perfumed gels and lotions, and being as big of a bougie snob that I am, I usually buy them from perfume houses. So this one is from Casamorati. So this is south of Italy. That's right. They are actually headquartered in Turin. Awesome. What did I want to say about this? This is perfumed with Mephisto. So they, as far as I know, they match the existing perfume compositions with some of the things they bring into this Bath and Body line. Truly luxurious. If you stumble upon them somewhere on the internet, if you're looking for upgrading your skincare collection, body care collection, I would definitely look into that. I've tried many of you, from cheap like Salvador Dali or Elizabeth Arden, all the way to luxurious Amouage and yada yada yada, and Frederic Malle, Bath and Body lines. And I must say, Casamorati really delivers on the ticket in terms of the luxuriousness of product itself. I'm not sure that I got a clear impression of Mephisto as a fragrance composition from this, though. So that's definitely, we're going to take a point from ranking this versus everything else. In my view, Amouage smells the closest to their perfumes. Frederic Malle, I also find, doesn't quite translate well their formulas into different formats. And the same with Xerjoff, but these, if it's a body lotion, is going to be the silkiest, creamiest, the most luxurious feeling body care products. And I also have the Fiore di Olivo, the flower of olive tree, by the same brand as a shower gel, and I love it. So anytime I see these pop up here and there on secondary market or this or that, I'm going to buy them. They're really good. I'm just not sure if I'll go for Mephisto again because I already tried it. Nice, uncertain, wet, greenish flavor to it. Not my favorite, but it was not bad either. I just loved it as a product. This is rare when fragrance houses actually do well in other product areas, even though in the eyes of the big bosses, fragrances, skincare, makeup, it's all the same. Let's lump it up with accessories and fashion and make a killing for next quarter. But if a fragrance house attempts to transfer their olfactory compositions into other formulas, other mediums, that's a riskier proposition usually, and there is a skill to it for sure. This was quite a disappointment. We're gonna go through some freshier, kind of morning style fragrances and progress throughout toward heavier comfort zone, cuddly, all kinds of things toward heavier and more spicier or evening style perfumes to the end of Last Drops. So this is Nomenclature, which is a molecular style perfume brand, and their fragrance called Hollywood. It's pretty much something between molecule 2 to 4. So this very typical, recognizable synthetic sour green synthetic patchouli scent. Here it is. I must say, I am not feeling that pyramid, almost none at all. It could easily be molecule number 2 to my nose. However, the perfumer was Frank Voekel, and I gave Nomenclature a lot of, again, so you can see the pyramid so far. I don't even consider this rosy, to be completely honest. It's just not like some synthetic woody, clear wood or whatever molecule, or I don't get milky santal. I don't get maybe more like pickled santal, more akin toward those pickle juice stuff, not suede, not Bulgarian rose, none of that. Even pink pepper, which I love. I thought pink pepper plus rose plus santal plus suede is match made in heaven. None of that I find in Hollywood. And I gave Nomenclature a lot of space to shine because, as I said before, with their creation of shiso, I like that fresh, not so minty, but like refreshing light shiso. I like their chemical laboratory packaging. I am generally interested in the game that molecular brands play, as long as they do it intelligently with certain devotion to both fun. It's hard line to walk, to make it fun, to make it educational, and to make it a little bit everything and easy to wear. So a good molecular fragrance can really deliver on a lot of aspects. And by molecular, I don't mean that it has to be purely synthetic. It's just mostly the vibe and the branding that it gives. In that sense, Hollywood was such a disappointment that I think I used maybe 3 ml of that, and the rest I just used up as room refreshing spray. I don't know. Things that just you put somewhere just to get rid of the juice. Next is my attempt to keep up with the barrage of launches that have been happening from Etat Libre d'Orange that made its reputation kind of shocking, very forward-looking, but then there was also the whole army of molecular brands and brands that did their own spin on shocking. Before London, Nasamato, Eau de Parisi, and whatnot. So, Etat Libre d'Orange Sous le Pont Mirabeau, which is devoted to an old iconic bridge in Paris, is, again, a lot of conceptual design went into forcing a lot of cultural background in what's really essentially a more sour, seaweedy form of Davidoff water. If you remember when the molecule Cologne became all the rage in the 90s, and there were so many freshy, oceanic, marine, as it was called, marine style fragrances, which mostly smell like this, what we think of this marine, watery watermelon things, or like cucumber plus watermelon things. This is pretty much it, just is that the cucumber started going sour in the stale water left in the sun for a long time. It is greenish, fresh air minus salty sour cucumber vibe, floral. And it's just, I've seen quite a few very, very expensive fragrances that try to fight for that niche in the market of olfactory design. And it's very hard to win against the simplicity of some of the Calvin Klein creations in that realm, or even the original itself, the Davidoff Cool Water, which you can buy on any gas station, at least in the States, and it costs $10. The manifestation of this marine floral thing plus cucumber is slightly different here, but is it really worth the price tag? And would I even wear it a lot? No, not really. I pretty much gave it away, mostly just like samples to friends who wanted to try something of that nature. And I think I probably wore 2 ml myself, and I immediately knew as soon as I got it that would not really cut cut it in terms of personal usage or olfactory design when it comes to marine or oceanic fragrances. I do like myself a seaweedy perfume, but Acqua di Sale by Parfum Aroma, among many others, especially Serge Luton's waters, beige label, tall skyscraper bottles. I prefer them way over many other things like that. I think yet another super expensive, like Etat Libre d'Orange is actually a very reasonable niche brand. This is why I keep sampling them, I keep going back to them, keep checking in their releases, because I feel they still maintain certain level of decency when it comes to pricing and at least attempts at some creative design, both olfaction wise and concept wise. But what was it? The Harmonist? I think they had either yin or metal flower. I think it was metal flower, which was yet again some kind of rosy / cucumber floral fruity mineral accord, marine accord, oceanic accord, and that was what, $300 a bottle. I mean, I used it up as pretty much like a body spray, but no. And it continues to be a puzzle. It continues to be a challenge for the industry to make these fresher, think Dior Fahrenheit almost, these fresher cologne but not citrusy, fruity, floral, marine, ozonic fragrances, to make them smell interesting and expensive, worth the price tag. To me, this one is not a winner, and I haven't seen many yet. Again, my preference in that regard is probably Waters by Serge Luton. So goodbye. We're never gonna see each other again. All right. This guy. I got it after smelling it in Sephora. I'm a big fan of Prada Cologne's line. It's been one of my favorite staples, things that you can buy anywhere, but they have that niche quality make and fairly recognizable DNA for the whole line. In my view, way better stuff than nearly anything by Jo Malone or other competitors, even including some exclusive botanical lines by Chloe, or who else did something similar, things of that nature. So I tried their ginger fragrance, Infusion de Gingembre, and I was disappointed at first. And I was so excited that Prada colognes made it to all like Sephora's in the world. And yet I was waiting for that release. I was not really taken by it. And then I bought myself a travel size, used it, fell in love with it, made a whole expose and mega guide on ginger fragrances and ginger design in olfactory arts and perfumes. You can watch it on a Perfume Nation podcast. It's easy to find. It has ginger all over the title. And rated it as number 1. Only to be rivaled by its close second, which is Floraiku, a French brand that pretends to be Japanese. Interesting concept. Anyway, I use it up. I love it. It's on my wish list. It grew on me. I do now consider this as one of the best, well-formed, interesting gingers on the market. I haven't bought myself a full-size bottle yet, but it is on the wish list. And since I've bought 5 full-size bottles of ginger-centric perfumes, I still have quite a few to work through. But this remains to be a number 1. Full-size bottle used up. I probably sprayed around 4 ml on myself and eventually gave up and started using it as a room spray. This is a classic cheapie. If you wanna familiarize yourself with olfactory design staples, templates, Cologne, which pretty much where this came from. Cologne is actually an Italian creation, but another famous, cheap, very reliable staple that is the most quintessential what cologne, Italian eau de cologne is supposed to smell like, is the Köln Wasser, Kölnisch water, 4711. This is a classic one. This is a splash bottle. I pretty much just put in a spray bottle and use it up. I love classical colognes as room sprays. I consider that to be more of a living space scent, a refresher for the space. And I just cannot, believe it, I cannot make peace with classical citrusy, this juniper, gin-like colognes as a personal perfume. I cannot make sense of it for myself whatsoever. I fell in love with mineral accords, at least certain kinds of them. I made peace with edible gourmands. I've extended and stretched my taste as much as I could, and I will continue to do so. But classical citrusy juniper colognes, this is something is worth knowing, but I just don't get it. If I like something citrusy, I want it to be mandarin, I want it to be believable orange, or I want it to be lime. Bigarade concentrate is my all-time favorite citrus. I can bathe in it if needed. But this stuff, I just don't get it. And yet, I really enjoy a well-cologned space. So I might continue buying them just to use as some kind of diffuser liquid. Just spray or pour it into a diffuser and just let it evaporate slowly. I do enjoy its effect in the space. I do not get it as a personal perfume. I don't know what needs to be done. Maybe you can give me an advice. I've tried so many classical or neoclassical colognes. Again, as I said, this gin tonic, citruses plus spiky pine needles, fougere, again, gin style trickery, and I never enjoy them. If we're talking about pine needles, I love woody pine needles, dry, spicy. I can't even live with them being slightly oceanic and mineral, but not with lemons, not in this typical, again, Kölnisch waterway. I don't get it. It's been years and I don't get it. Next is my hidden gem. Not many people know about this perfume, but I love it. It's frivolous, it is silly and very synthetic, but some people enjoy that. Moschino made it a whole thing to make things unapologetically buoyant, fun, synthetic. And one of the releases by Lalique, of all brands, I would not expect that appear in Lalique stand. So this is their less compositions for me, their minor line of fragrances. They have Pink Paradise. I used up half of it. Can you see it? Yep. I love this thing. Let's see what's in here. To me, it says it's both powdery and marine and musky, which is like, if you look at the vibes of the fragrance, it doesn't make any sense. Let me explain it to you in a couple of words. Pink Paradise, it's one of those Cosmo style cocktails that already come in a glowing neon pink frosted matte bottle of premixed cocktails. You will not ask what's in there. You will never question what natural ingredients could possibly be used to make that concoction, but you will drink 4 and you will ask for another one. It's very sour. It's not actually sour, it's more bitter. It's bitter, rosy, fruity. In some odd ways, the same impression, but with different notes I get from Miracle Lancôme, because there you get some bitterness with rosy, lychee, floral thing, plus laundry detergent, the white musks. Here, you get a new generation of white musks. It no longer smells as powder of laundry detergent. It more smells like somewhat sour, bitter freshness mixed with neon pink, very hard to determine floral fruitiness. It's very abstract. It's very synthetic, fun, punchy, flirty. I told you, it's like one of those premixed cocktails that already glows in the dark. You pour one, you pour another, you don't ask any questions. I love it. As I told you, I used up half. This is in my frivolous. This is a sin. I feel like any serious perfume lover should afford to have like a secret stash of things that are shameful to admit that they love wearing. If you're not scared, let me know. Which kinds would you consider to be? I'm not supposed to like this, but I do. For me, yet another 5 ml. I'm halfway down the bottle. I don't know how much of a repurchase value I put on Pink Paradise, mainly because it's not a masterpiece, but it's fun. If you like Moschino fragrances, you will like this one. This guy. Thank you so much to my subscriber who sent me this to try. I'm very grateful. I am mildly curious about the boutique line by Armani, so I've been sampling judiciously, and we'll talk about a few of them here as well later in the more gourmand section. But Armani Pierre de Lune is yet another sour, slightly powdery, sour, musky violet. Similarly to classical citrusy juniper colognes, violets, I just don't get them in perfumery. I struggle to find something to enjoy in those accords, and I've tried many. Like, it actually, the Pierre de Lune reminds me a lot of Feminine Pluriel by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. And again, the strong suspect here is the violet accord, whatever they mean by it. But Pierre de Lune, it's just yet another. They all seem so whiny, depressively negative, like one bougie, I don't know, fifth daughter of some rich dude who never loved her, and she just keeps spending daddy's money, and she just whines. One of those whiny, negative, capricious duchesses, Duchess air. I can't explain it. It's just violets and powdery musky accords are supposed to give us that a little bit elevated aristocratic feel, and I don't get it. I would easily swap it for something powdery plus either bitter like wormwood or powdery plus sweetened heliotrope type of deal, or iris in its especially molecular forms. But violets, if the fragrance is violet accord centric, it's a pass. So I tried. I think there was probably 3 ml left here. I tried, just like with Feminine Pluriel by Francis Kurkdjian, I just don't get it as a genre overall. If you have any good violets that are worth a shot, I heard Violet Shot, who made that? It's not Laboratorio Olfativa, it's the other one that sounds just like it. I saw that it's okay. I have a touch of violet by Jill Sander. It's a very rare edition. It's hard to find these days, but that one is not really that much of a violet in my view. It's just it's a pleasant everyday perfume, nothing more. There are candied violets. I think Guerlain has a few, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not a big fan of that. So what are we left with? What are we left with violets? It's not a coincidence that you haven't seen me doing a huge guide on violet-centric perfumes, because that's just yet another. It's not a blind zone. I feel them and I dislike them. Again, it's just whiny, capricious, peculiarly boring and negative accords to me. It's just like sour grapes almost. But to lift up our moods, I have a potential Serge Lutein's clone here, or dupe. This is Rose, which is Soliflores by Molinard. I think they potentially repackaged this one. I'm not 100% sure. You can either not find them at all, or you can find them for fairly cheap. That depends on your hunting skills online. I like waters by Molinard in general. I find if you're trying to familiarize yourself with olfactory design, that's a cheaper way to go through some basic accords. Again, none of this is squeezed out of any particular rose flower. All of these are semi-natural, semi-chemical compositions. That's the mixture of natural ingredients with synthetic ingredients, what gives the most expressive and the most well technically designed compositions in modern perfumery. That said, these are simple enough that these accords guide you in a way. In contrast to what a lot of people say online, most people haven't smelled the raw materials ever. Even not all people exactly know what is the difference between Hedione and Iso Super. So when it comes to even natural ingredients, rose and jasmine and certain kinds of citruses, it's probably where we are in terms of our ability to decipher. But there are hundreds of types of roses that have very diverse smell profiles in the wild, in nature. But on top of that, everything that you can make that smells like a rose, the whole genre in perfumery exists, a niche perfumery, make a rose without using any chemical that appears in a rose or any natural rose derivative raw substance. So it's still fun. I find that this comes dangerously close to La Fille de Berlin by Serge Lutens, but the latter is sweeter, and the Rose by Molinard is a little bit more botanical. It has more of a greener, more of a flat greener profile, and yet it's not too oily. It's not too much of a Bulgarian rose profile. That's not my favorite. That is still be wearable. I think I wore about 15 ml of this rose, and the rest I just used up as a linen spray. It's not intricate enough for me to go for it in favor of any other rose-centric perfume that I have, and I have hundreds and hundreds of them. So that was an easy, I guess you can say it, a downgrade. I enjoyed smelling it on objects, in spaces, but it's not something that I'll repurchase. This is a good buy. This is Parle Eau de Parfum Chypre Mojo 45. I left myself 5 ml and then sold the bottle. Here's why. I was very curious about this brand, the Parle Eau de Parfum, because I'm a sucker for master perfumer driven brands. I have a little bit more faith usually in those new niche brands rather than something that is just an Instagram niche, what I call them. You don't know where it came from, you don't know who's behind it. It's just bubbles on top of the champagne. But Parle Moi is a serious venture, and I was looking for something that I will love from the brand, and I thought an unusual fruity Chypre is just what I needed in my life. So this is a mango Chypre. I thought perfect. Usually Chypres are either very green and slightly bitter, or they are fruity with osmanthusy, kind of peachy, apricot-y type of feel. Often there is also fruity rose in the Chypres. Mango felt fresh, felt very much in the now, very, very cool twist on the classical Chypre composition. And it delivers generally on every promise. That said, something that bothers me a little bit about it is that something about the terpenic, this earthy, what they describe patchouli vibe that it has, makes the fruity accord smell spoiled. I have a huge mango tree that grows in my neighbor's garden, and a couple of years we had a just incredible harvest. Mangoes were dropping every day everywhere, and the stench that they produce made me hate mangoes for 2 years after that year. At first, I was picking them up, things that the neighbors didn't want. Like if it was in decent enough shape, you can cut off the part that was smooshed when it was falling, and then you have these overripe, beautiful mangoes. That's great. But my neighbors didn't really take care of their tree. Maybe they didn't know, maybe they didn't care, maybe they had long COVID. I have no idea. A lot of those fruits were left to rot on the ground. You can smell that rotty, fluty mango flesh 2 blocks away. Imagine how it felt to get out of the house in the morning for a cup of coffee and just be bombarded with that. And I smell the same flavor in Chypre Mojo. And ever since I detected it, the perception is there. I can't get rid of that. It's a genius perfume in its own way. It's very believable. It has this natural movement and depth that you want from a Chypre family of fragrances. Mango to me is like beautiful twist on a genre. It keeps it relevant and keeps it fresh. Love everything about it conceptually, but that spoiled, rotting fruit little twist that it has, I cannot do. I hope you understand. So I sold the bottle. It went away pretty quick because these perfumes are fairly coveted. It's a well-respected but lesser-known brand. If you're looking for something like that and you don't mind these flamboyantly overripe fruit accents in perfumery, I think Champagne by Yves Saint Laurent was also along the same lines. They renamed it, right? I think they renamed it from Champagne to something else. Can't remember. I'm not even sure if it's available anymore. But overripe fruits is also like a niche genre. A lot of people love them because it's that believable, because it feels so real. But to me, no. I will have to find another mango or another tropical fruit elsewhere, which I already started working on. So if you want to see the fruit fragrances edition of 2026, please let me know in the comments down below and I will pull it together. Okay, next. This one, a sample, West Ellis, Brooklyn. I was curious about this brand. Let me know if you have any favorites from them. To me, they look too much like 1,000 of other Sephora brands, so I never really paid much attention. But I got a sample of 2 ml of West. I tried using it, but to me, it was this uncomfortable greenish citrusy accord that to me smelled like scratchy petitgrain and neroli. I made a whole expose on neroli and discussed what I think about it in olfactory design, the best and the worst of it, and the significance of that generally in perfume history, which cannot be overstated. That said, I thought it was a neroli scent. Apparently it isn't. If I look at the pyramid, that's where it is. Bunch of citruses, basil, some green note, and ginger. I did not detect ginger in this perfume. Otherwise, I would have included it in my ginger expose. This whole thing, believe it, in terms of the pyramid, don't. I thought it was just an annoyingly, slightly synthetic feeling citrus perfume with neroli. Boring, but not bad. And again, these things I would rather prefer in the shower as a shower gel or as a refreshing room spray, but I cannot see myself wearing something so insistent that doesn't bring some level of authenticity, some natural flavor that you could recognize in the world. It's just insistent for no good reason. Not my favorite. But if you have any other gems by this brand, by Ellis Brooklyn, let me know. I haven't stumbled upon anything that I would be worth writing home about. All right, my favorite category, cuddly, whispery, meditative, souffle type of fragrances. Soft, spicy, floral, this, that, fruity, with something that's very delicate, very whisper in your ear type of sophistication. The first empty bottle, it's been a long time in the making, is La Tempérance 14 by Dolce & Gabbana. It was somewhat odd line released by Dolce & Gabbana a while ago. Some of them still circulate on secondary and gray markets, but the overall thing is long gone, with the exception of L'Impératrice. I think it was number 3, I don't remember. L'Impératrice, which was musky, kiwi, rosy scent, which I do have somewhere and I don't wear. I need to pull it out and make some final call on it, whether I love it or not. So L'Impératrice made history. Back in the day, it was just as prevalent as Versace Bright Crystal or Chanel Chance or Fleur Narcotique by Ex Nihilo. Like, if you think of like fresh, refreshing, sour, fruity scent that is iconic, L'Impératrice was it for a while. But there are other fragrances in that line that were quickly discontinued because they didn't make that big of a splash in the community, in the market. So 14 La Tempérance is, in my view, what Givenchy Pie used to be, or P, depending how you pronounce the sacred number. It's soft, spicy, very conformist type of deal. The spices here are so finely milled. It's almost like a warm, freshly baked cake. When you feel the dough with some sweetness, some spices, but it's nothing in your face, nothing extraordinarily noticeable. I really enjoyed it. I think I used up at least 30 ml. And eventually I just got bored with it. I got way more interesting or cuddlier scents. And I had Givenchy P and I used that up, and then I had this. And I, generally speaking, I'm a little, I don't want to say disappointed, but I'm a little estranged from this whole idea of super quiet spices. These days, I think that is the predominant mode, that even if we are talking about a nude perfume, something that's understated, very skin-like, we still want at least 1 or 2 recognizable notes, accords, that it's very perceptually pleasing to our mind to recognize something that was promised. And this doesn't have that. It's a very well blended, as I said, conformist soft spice perfume. If you can find it for, I don't know, super cheap, I would still recommend you trying it, especially if you enjoy that idea. But I would not repurchase it again. And I end up using most of it again as some just room spray. There was no note there that stood out in any shape or form. Even if they had a little bit more of the peppery theme going on, something had to stood out, and nothing stands out in 14 La Tempérance. So I enjoyed it. It's soft, it's cuddly, it's softly milled, spicy, almost like a warmed up muffin. But it's not enough. I mean, it's just, there are better things out there. Talking of which, a better thing out there, dirt cheap, well, relatively speaking, clean cashmere. But this is a very reliable clone of Frédéric Malle Le Diver. I did not make that connection up until I went and checked it on Fragrantica. Here it is. I bought it a long time ago when I just started familiarizing myself with what's powdery perfume is supposed to be like. And usually you will find, like, you try one of them, you try them all. True, not true, but it's some combination of minty lavender plus what I call boiled musk. It's the musk that smells like custard cream, and heliotrope. Everything else can change, whether it has tonka bean, sandalwood, or this or that. Usually the details can be changed, but it's heliotrope as a note and some sweet vanilla type of musk plus some iris potentially or lavender. So clean cashmere for a long time for me was beautiful, soothing, and boring. Up until I got a sample of L'Eau d'Hiver by Frédéric Malle. Fell in love with it because to me it smelled like melting icicles in April. I don't know why it had that smell. They do smell because the ice gets mixed with soil, gets mixed with a whole bunch of other things. And when the ice melts, I think it also releases some molecules that we can detect with our nose. And L'Eau d'Hiver to me was such a weirdly, subtly alluring scent that I revisited Clean Cashmere. And let's see if it's still linked to L'Eau d'Hiver on Fragrantica, because I think that's where I got the inclination. Yes, here we go. A lot of people disagree. I would think it's very close. And I do still want to buy L'Eau d'Hiver by Frédéric Malle. And I didn't because I was using Clean, but now that it's done and gone, I don't even know which one I want to buy. Because this is good. This is good. This is good stuff. Don't know yet. Give me time. But if you're looking for something that is budget friendly and it comes from the same family of the same type of olfactory design, Clean Cashmere. Here is a truly historic moment for me in my channel. I finished up Tardies by Carner Barcelona. If my channel is associated with any perfume at all, it's usually this. I got countless thanks for introducing people to Tardies by Carner Barcelona, which is a niche Spanish brand. We love our independent niche. We want to support that. Trust me, otherwise we'll very soon run out of options that don't smell like Baccarat Rouge or some other version of Ganymede. Beautiful. This is soft almond cookies with just powdered sugar, just a little bit, and some soft floral powdery component. Delightful. This is just a perfume to be worn if you want to be liked. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. And people who bought it by my recommendation say the same. Everybody loves it. If you're going on a charm attack and you want to be accepted in a new group of people at work, in any social circle, this is something to wear so people will say like, God, it's nice. Like, she's just nice. She's so good to be around. It feels good to be around her or him. It's magic. It's magic in a bottle. I used up the whole thing. Also, like, my last decant, and surely enough, this is non-negotiable, all right? I already have a replacement, and I'm considering buying myself yet another replacement. The only reason not to do it is that perfumes, even though they're 70% plus alcohol and they should have a long shelf life, some compositions age worse than others. So I don't know how well this would macerate if I just bought myself a stash. But I am considering this because I do not want to be without it. Yes, so this is historic for me. A whole bottle, what is it, 50, 60 ml, is gone. It's gone, and I already got a replacement. I'm not unpackaging it now because I really wore the hell out of Tardies when I realized how low it was. And I'm taking a bit of a break with my other favorite, which I refilled right after I finished Tardies, is Royal Musk. Royal Musk by Micallef. So I used up the last 5 ml of Tardies, and I ended up using Royal Musk 5 ml, or maybe it's 4, probably 4 ml. This soft, as I said, custard cream style boiled musk with subtle peachy flavor. It's like the most luxurious low cream lotion that you've ever put on your skin. I love it. I live in it. I'm starting to see a dent. And this is one of my top cuddly nude perfumes. Obviously, Tardies has its own place in my universe, but this is this has its own throne that it sits on. So for now, I'm transitioning just to give it more of like a refresher, because I have a whole collection of new perfumes and I made a video about it that you can watch and find the best of the best of the best things that are approved by the Perfume Nation podcast. Great category, amazing examples of specimens in there, and Royal Musk is definitely in the top. Next was 8 ml of Sir Galahad by Isabelle. I'm still on the hunt for their Lily perfume. I think that it's called Bliss Noir or something like that. But the best that I've tried from them so far is Sir Galahad. It is gardenia for him, I would say. It's so easy to wear. It's this romantic, light, watercolory gardenia with spices. They say there is some traces of tobacco and woody notes in there. Entirely possible. I don't really smell this as a tobacco scent. Again, since it's geared, at least I think marketing-wise, more toward men exploring florals. So they try to go conservative on the floral components here, but still elevate them and bring them to the forefront of your mind. I feel this is a very soft, respectful, well-formed gardenia surrounded by softly milled spices. I find this to be very broccoli boy, this gender fluid play on these components. It's ethereal, it's euphoric, it's very in between. So when you see the notes, don't allow yourself to get fooled. Nothing here is super pronounced. It doesn't smell lactonic in terms of whipped cream or milk or half and half. It doesn't smell overtly floral. It doesn't have like this tobacco or woody bases that you can find in designer men fragrances. It's whiffs. It's puffy, uncertain, opaque cloud. Gardenia for him. I love Sir Galahad by Isabelle. I think it's one of the best creations I've tried from them in general when it comes to attempts to frame florals in less overtly girly fashion. Beautiful stuff. Big thanks to my subscriber who sent me this sampler of Ex Nihilo fragrances. And this one is Love Shot that I used up completely on a long road trip that I took last year. I thought it was the most comforting soft raspberry syrup mixed with whipped cream type of scent. I didn't think much of it, to be honest. I enjoyed wearing it. If it was coming from Pacifica, I would be super happy to buy a full-size bottle. But this is Ex Nihilo with prices, what is it? Well above $200 these days. So no, it is lovely. It is flirtatious. The thing, raspberry syrup with whipped cream and they say leathery base. Maybe it doesn't seem that leathery to me. Maybe like a hint. It's not bright. It's not very fruity. It's not very lactonic. It's one of those cuddly souffle type of situations where it whiffs. It's fun. It's comfortable. It's beautiful. And it's not that special, especially for that price tag. So thank you so much, Love Shot by Ex Nihilo. Thank you to my subscriber who shared her sampler. And goodbye. There's no point. There's no point to spend that budget on something that passing. This gets me angry a little bit because I bought probably 5, if not more, decants of full-size bottles in explicit hope to find the best lychee fragrance on the market. I have not succeeded yet, let me tell you. So we're gonna review some of the contestants that clearly did make the cut. Unfortunately, this decant has broke, so I haven't used up all of it, only half. This is Edeniste Rose Delice. This is supposed to be lychee, rosy, plus some toffee sweetness, some ganache, like chocolate sweetness, not necessarily chocolate, but sweets. And it was so boring and it was so underwhelming. I think if you really want to go for a jammy, sweet, delicious rose, there's plenty of that. And even some of Salvador Dali's in their boutique line have that. Their first boutique line has a little bit of that. I think, who made that? Alberto Morelius, I think. He is known for making glamorously rosy sweet perfumes. There are plenty of contestants that will play on the gourmand edible sweet notes plus lychee rose. I still have not found a believable well-wrapped lychee note to date, and this is no exception. Yeah, but it's like olfactory lychee. You know what I mean? It's not believable, but I know what they're talking about. It's probably the same petalia or some molecule that gives you this both floral, rosy, and fruity lychee perception. If you want a truly luscious lychee sweet rose gourmand, I would go with Amour Oud roses, specifically Rose Noir in their Elixirs collection. That is out of this world. That's what I call Instagram niche. That's it. That's pretty much an iconic example. I don't get it. There's not much to discuss here. Neither in design, not in olfactory design, in nothing that stands beyond a pleasant experience. And that's it. Slowly but surely we're making our way to gourmands and heavy stuff. I used up 30 ml of another staple from my collection. If you want to see the best of the best, I have already 2 samplers. You can try, in my view, what's the absolute showstoppers, what we've seen in niche perfumery to date. It's the best of last year and the best of this year Decant collection from my personal vaults. I'll leave a link below. That said, this is definitely in that crown jewels, best of the best of the best, and there's no year that needed to be added to that. This is why I started paying attention to Etat Libre d'Orange, even though it's not the perfume that made them their scandalous reputation. This was a collaboration with Tilda Swinton, everyone's darling. She is warm, intellectual, ironic. She's just, I've never met her, but I want to believe that she's led in real life. And she described like this as sex with your lover on a Saturday afternoon. This comfortable, pleasant event that is neither transformational or groundbreaking. No, it is boring. A lot of people recommend like this by Etat Libre d'Orange during Thanksgiving. I'm not an exclusion to that. And yet I've heard a lot of people say that they don't really get that pumpkin latte or pumpkin spice type of gourmandise aspect of it. I absolutely do. I slept in it all winter. I love it. And I'm not a big fan of pumpkin flavors. I think it's been overdone in American culture quite a bit. So, not my favorite. And yet I love this perfume because it's not in your face. It's not as synthetic smelling as many other those pumpkin spice candle types. It's still a perfume composition. And this is probably why some people say that, oh, it's not as much pumpkin as I wanted or I would anticipate. But I think that's what makes it wearable as a personal perfume, as an olfactory creation that you put on yourself as aesthetic and emotionally soothing statement rather than smelling like a cake. Love it. I already have a replacement, a 50 ml replacement for it. You didn't have to guess it. I will forever keep buying it as long as they keep producing it. Next one is a brand that I was coveting for a long time. I finally have a full-size bottle of Arso by Parfum Uomo. To me, Arso is the perfect scent of a Christmas tree. I have a few others, but not full-size traveled. So they're Thundra. Again, thanks to you guys who are willing to send me samples for a review or things that you think are interesting to discuss, but you no longer want to hold on to them. If anybody wants to share or sponsor a review, all the links are down below in the description of this video. That said, Thundra was gifted to me by a subscriber. Since I mentioned that I was really looking forward to sampling more from Parfumum Romo, and it's a very lavish, bright, some people say linear style of composing perfumes in the fragrance world. Some people say it's very rich, it's very old school Italian blending. I agree with both interpretations of how Parfumum Romo blends their fragrances. They're definitely long lasting. All of them have this slightly oily smell and feel. You almost feel there's so many fragrance oil in this. It does feel oilier in all aspects of the product. And Thundra itself is a classical manifestation of what their blending at least used to be. That said, I expected something a little bit more delicate. In here, you get wet forest in an oil feel. Mushroomy, wet, rotting nuts. This very green, oily, slightly dampened feeling. To me, it's very nutty. But they say that it contains musk, mint, and patchouli. Patchouli, I believe it. Musk to a degree. No, the type of musks that I call custard. They're called boiled musks, what I call them, because they have this sweet, soft feeling of a custard cream. But mint? Where is mint in here? If anything, I would have guessed lavender, but when lavender or mint are given in any given marketing pyramid, because it's composed by marketing team, the actual molecules or components used could be the same. So maybe it's mint, but to me it lands more lavenderish, but not as much. To me, it's just nutty and mushroomy in a really bizarre way. Interesting, yes. Very long lasting, has a lot of projection, but really bizarre at the same time. If you want to explore this forest theme, this is quite a luxurious way to do so. That said, I think I'm gonna pass on that for now. I appreciate the design, however, it's unique. I already made a whole brand review and concept and olfaction design review of Celine, their haute couture fragrance line, and the one that I already finished up was Dans Paris. Not because I like the most, my favorite. I'll let you watch the whole review on the Perfume Nation podcast and just discover it there. But I used Dans Paris the first because it's the least memorable. I just sprayed it when I had it in my purse and I wanted to have a refreshment of a scent on me. It just gives you this uncertain, sweet, powdery scent. Not much to write home about. I would never pay that much money for a scent that smells like just generic powdery vanilla-ish. I think there are much cheaper scents that deliver on this promise, and this is not the most unique of all of the Celine fragrances. That said, it was very pleasant. If you somehow get gifted a Celine fragrance, or you are in the boutique and you just need to grab something, Dans Paris is not the worst choice to be made. They're all very wearable. Are they $300 type of wearable? I'm not so sure. At least Dans Paris doesn't cut that, doesn't go above the standard that what I would pay $300 for. Anyway, moving on. Now we're talking gourmands. Well, actually we have one leather here. Atelier des Ors, Cuir Sacré. Soft, white leathery scent. doesn't quite deliver the same as Dame Blonde by Serge Lutens. I'm sorry. The whole community keeps looking for a replacement for this apricot white leather effect. Not that, but it comes very close to other white leather scents. I think BDK has white leather scent. I forget the name of it. I actually have a full-size bottle, which fulfills my need for soft, delicate floral leather. This is also very beautiful. Courrier Sacré, I would recommend. But there are many others. There is also Stéphane Lucas 777 Mortal Skin, which to me falls into the same category. They all are suspiciously similar. It's pretty much whether you like packaging of one versus the other, or the price of BDK white leather versus this one is better. Up to you. Good stuff, very wearable. Packaging wise, unique enough. I started to appreciate unique packaging in niche brands because I'm so tired of this cheap glass that we keep seeing online and on the shelves that for some reason costs a very premium price tag. That doesn't make sense to me. The whole idea of using the same glass, a very generic glassware for niche perfumery, was to make niche perfumery more affordable. But now using cheap materials became a thing in itself, and prices somehow keep going up. So I'll give it to Atelier des Ors to at least they have their own proprietary bottle design. Whether you like those golden flakes or not, up to you. But I appreciate some effort that they put into their designs. That said, Courrier Sacré, I'm not going to buy it unless I find it in some spectacular sale. I love soft leathers. This is my cup of tea for sure. Crème de cuir. Goodness, I had to find it so I didn't leave you hanging. This is what I have. Actually, you can get a decant from me as well of this one. I don't think I can tell a difference without comparing them side to side. It's kind of like a completely different pyramid, isn't it? To me, they're as close as brothers. And here is the third suspect. I just didn't want to leave you hanging. Mortal Skin by Stéphane Humbert Lucas. And yet again, if you look at the pyramid, ink, blackbird, like, right? There's not much that overlaps between how the marketing teams decided to present this. But I swear to God, these three, they're very similar. They're very similar. Soft, slightly powdery, slightly floral, thin, white, leathery scents. And that's it. Pick the one that you prefer, whether the packaging or the price tag off. They're all wonderful, but they're not that unique. This is tragic. This is tragic. I've got this sample from a subscriber a long time ago, and this is Armani, New York, and it was just collecting dust for the longest time ever. And then I took it with me on the road trip, and I fell in love hard. And she's not even my type, as they say. At first, I thought, oh my God, this is the well-rounded, like orchid, vanilla, rose, violet, I don't know. This is like a very well-rounded, sweetened laundry detergent floral that is just, you can't tell what's in it. It's not my type, but I love it. And it gave me this feeling of like Upper East Side. Well, it's dedicated to luxury New York. It's just so polished. It's the definition of polished, comfortable, not in a rush, and yet very well-mannered, very reserved. Apparently, this is a limited edition, some rare release where I don't know if you can find it easily or not. I haven't started looking because I have one more sample. This is, I think, 3 mil. Yeah, it's 2 mil. 2 mil and 2 more mil to go. I'll cherish it. I'm not sure if I'll be able to pay what they're asking for it. But my gosh, rich bitch, this is so good. And such a weird, it's almost old-fashioned. It gave me the feel of those Manhattan-born and already 60-year-old divas, Manhattan-born royalty, and all at this point are pushing 60. They roll out of those really regal-looking foyers and walk like they own the place, like my island. Oh, this is such a weird combination. And I thought, what gives it such soapy, delicious roundness? And I think it's aldehydes. And that started me thinking that I think I'm falling in love with aldehydes. But they're, again, it's such a wide group of chemicals. They can smell as anything. But aldehydes, when we discuss them as notes in perfumery, there's old school, Chanel No. 5, Lanvin, what is it? Aperche? I don't remember. It's old school aldehydes. There is modern school that when everybody started making champagne brut fragrances and champagne was a note, those sour, synthetic, patchouli, sour, bitter, fresh aldehydes, Etat, Libre, d'Orange had like 10 perfumes with that accord, with that way of pulling our aldehydes into the composition. And I think this is the contemporary aldehydes. The New York by Giorgio Armani, and the next one is unapologetically soapy with this like lychee fruity flavor, just like so softly wrapped in the floral fruity aroma. Nothing specific, it's just perfect polish. Just if you think of a bowl made of platina, just highly polished platinum. So good. In love with it. I don't understand why. It's not my cup of tea, but it's so beautiful. Let's just move on because this is painful. It's becoming painful to talk about. And the other miraculously stellar example of contemporary aldehydes and how you wrap them with fruity, sweet notes is Acne. I had this as a gratis when I went to Frederic Mau's boutique. Thank you so much for, what was it? I think it was Las Vegas. Thank you so much for the guy who we chatted the day away there. So I got to try Acne Studios by Frederic Mau, and oh my, one spray just takes care of you for a couple of days. Let's see if I have anything left in here. I can still smell it. It's empty. I can still smell it. This came actually the closest to in my search for a beautiful fruity rosy lychee scent. It's just the aldehydes here, and as some of you have noticed, I've already reported that I bought myself 50 ml. I think this is a collectible item. I think this will make it to the history of the perfumery. I don't know if it will ever be as popular as some of the bestsellers, but in terms of olfactory creation, this and Amouage Guidance 46, their limited edition, several years macerated version, are things that it's like you have to try in terms of your own education just to know that chapter in perfumery. Acne Studios combines just astounding diffusion and longevity of very simple idea. Take old school sweet like detergent powder musks and add a lot of aldehydes. They're not prickly per se, but I don't even know what the effect is. It's like a muff bowl that is soaked in rose and lychee. If I say syrup, you'll think full-on gourmand. If you made syrup of lychee and rose into a powder and made a laundry detergent with it, you would get acne. And I'm not a big fan of laundry detergent so-called clean scents. Not really. Teint Neige is not my favorite. A lot of those things I don't really get. Why would you want to smell like a powder laundry detergent? But this is addictive. And considering how strong and flamboyantly present acne is, it's a weird thing to get addicted to, but it truly is. Once I spray, I usually use no more than 2 sprays, otherwise it's an overkill. It might get you nauseous because you will not be able to get rid of that scent, even if you wash your hand. It's truly beast mode type of perfume. But if you use it sparingly, it's hard to put down. It is. It's a polarizing scent. Not everybody enjoys a laundry detergent ever present in any room, but people who dig it love it. So yeah, Armani New York and Acne Studios by Frederic Malle is this new direction in soft, fruity florals that are made into these mothball, fluffy yet powerful creations that are always there. I've never experienced anything like that. Probably Acne is the most extreme version of that, and I would say Armani New York is a more understated, more wearable, more conventional version of that. But to me, there's the aldehydes and how they're used there, they're related. Lalibela by Memo Paris, a teeny tiny sample thanks to a subscriber just to give me a whiff. I think I used it for a couple of days. I tried to stretch it. A very non-eventful vanilla white floral, which brings me to a point about Mema that I keep giving this brand so much runway in terms of seducing me or impressing me, and yet this is like the most typical ylang-ylang, this candy vanilla rose. It's just a very pleasant, well-rounded, very boring fragrance. It's beautiful, but for that price, really? I'm starting to question my loyalty that I gave to Memo for what I suspect no good reason. I still adore to bits their Quartier Latin. I adore it so much that I don't even share it with anyone. It's mine. And the story there is one of the most delicious, sweet Santals. But to me, this is the most beautiful suede fragrances ever created, Quartier Latin. But Lalibela and many, many others that I've tried from Memo are just not much to write home about. And I need to have some intervention or reckoning with myself. Let me know if you consider this brand still worth exploring or not. I love their packaging. I want to like them. I want to justify the price tag. But Lalibela is definitely not it. Quartier Latin, yes, if you can find it. I guess the original Eau de Memo. That floaty green, but not galbanum, not bitter, not herbaceous. Just floaty, slightly bitter, fresh leather scent. Eau de Memo. I think it's still, again, considering when it was created, it's still unique. There are many others that are similar to it, but I'll give it the provenance. The leather collection, I still haven't found a leather there that I like. What else? I have Kidou. It's okay. Freshy citrusy perfume. Not worth the price tag in my opinion. I'm like becoming salty about Memo, not gonna lie. This was coming for Kilian, alright? I've given them also so much room. I made a whole dedicated review of Kilian fragrances, what I had at the time. It's been a few years, so let's review where we are. Kilian Black Phantom. I bought myself a travel. I just put it in the spray. And some people were describing Black Phantom by Kilian as their like secret power gourmand. Something that is not overtly syrupy, not overtly edible gourmand, but has this dark power. Well, when I bought it, and it stayed on my shelf for probably 4 years before I decided, okay, let's let's get down to it. Let's eliminate the suspect from my investigations. To me, it smells like a slightly burnt gas station coffee, the one that you need to add a lot of sugar and cream into so it's drinkable, so it doesn't give you ulcers. And slightly burnt hazelnuts. It's subtle enough, I'll give it that. Usually Kilians are louder. This one, it's very skin-like gourmand in my experience, in sharp contrast to Love by Kilian and Angel Share and others. So this is almost skin-like scent. And it is my understanding that they were trying to make a little bit more elegant, a little bit more interesting caramel scent. So this whole like burnt aspect of, what is it, that dark chocolate, coffee, burnt caramel, something. They say almonds. I feel more like general nuts, maybe even hazelnuts. To me, it's very nutty. Very, very nutty. A lot of nuts. And for that, I liked it. Everything else is ultra boring and generic in this fragrance. I would only consider it. If you're looking for a truly dark chocolate, there is a ton to choose from that will deliver. Among others, 7th Hour by Cartier. Hogwarts Library at night. Having dessert and dark chocolate with coffee at night with the burning firewoods in Hogwarts Library. Imagine that. This is just, it's flat. This burnt cheap caramel plus burnt coffee just makes it look cheap. I understand that they were trying to be a little bit more original, because God knows we don't need any more caramel scents. Like that niche has been explored. That we have opened that chapter. We've written 7 editions of that. We're ready to move on to something a little bit more sophisticated or twisted or softer or anything else, just rather than just flavoring of caramel in every fragrance. So I'll give them a point for that. And I love Kilian packaging. Price, not so much. The only thing that I enjoy about it, and I would consider, maybe I wouldn't buy it, but maybe I would not be mad if I got it as a gift. If I got it as a donation, I would not be mad. Because to me, it's nuts. It's rare for me to find a perfume that gives me this delight, nutty delight, delightful feeling of roasted nuts. Phantom does have it. For that, I love it, but I'm not going to buy a full-size bottle myself. It's just an interesting detour. Talking of extraordinary gourmands, Kilian and Mango, which is weaving the themes from the whole episode of Last Drops. Amazing, sweet, flamboyant mango scent that transitions into the best cologne or Love by Kilian / Angel Share by Kilian I've ever experienced is Room 1015 Jasmine Freak. Oh, this is fun. It is not my cup of tea. I don't like Love by Kilian. I'm not a big fan of Angel Share. I mostly gave it away. I gave people samples to people who I thought that would be their style. But I can appreciate the most unbelievably well played bid at being fun, unapologetically gourmand, sweet, yet modern. If I had to buy one of the Kilians or many versions of this Accord tropical vanilla sweet with a little bit of sparkling in it, I think Angel Share represents it really well. There are many perfumes like that, but among everything that I've tried of that genre, Jasmine Freak would be it because of the mango. Oh, they did it so well. It is fun. It is like a really good disco party. It is so much fun. Oh, cool. Too sweet for me. That whole idea of how to weave in the gourmand with the fruits is not my cup of tea, or maybe not yet. But this is a rare example where I actually enjoyed wearing it. As I said, I mostly give it away, but every once in a while, that mango, if I could get that mango in a slightly different wrap, more like a Prada cologne, but with mango. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I am looking for something like that, because a lot of the fruit-centric perfumes are just too dehydrated juice stuff, more flavorings rather than olfactory designs. This is a good one. If you're looking for sweet, fun, fruity perfume, Jasmine Freak, an absolute favorite. I appreciate it, even though it's not my taste. Fun. Try it. It's fun. And to finish this this saga of last drops, well, it's been a while since we talked about empty bottles. I don't know how many years this is. This is one of those Arabic creations that is, I'm afraid of touching it, because a lot of Arabic-centric perfumes, especially the ones that you get in Middle East, they have very high concentration of fragrant oils. I think I already got it. Even micro drop of it will smell for years. Not necessarily the highest quality these creations are. And again, this I think was a Tar collection, which is discontinued line. But generally speaking, let's talk about Arabic perfumes. They truly do deliver on brightness and longevity. No question. It took me, I told you, years. And I mostly added it to a diffuser or mixed it with something lighter and more sophisticated, because a lot of Middle Eastern creations that are kind of like this, right, nameless, with over-the-top packaging, they suffer from the same problem. They are very cheaply made. The packaging might be creative and fun even, but it will always peel at the edges. The plastic will fall off. The paint will crack. You know what I mean? The edges on the components are not going to be smooth or polished. And the same goes for their juice, for their olfactory designs. There is a reason why they're clones. Yes, I agree. A lot of niche perfumes and even designer perfumes these days are like grossly overpriced. This is nothing else than corporate greed. No post-COVID logistic harvest, none of those factors can even plausibly double the price of a perfume or make it cost that much money. Any perfume these days is above $200 full price. It's absurd, all right? Let's save the crocodile tears of your logistic system complications for another day, please. Been there, done that. But at the same time, a lot of the price tag that we are willing to pay for is for some technical aspects of the design. We don't want it to just evaporate within 15 minutes, unless that's the idea. But also for conceptual design, for a cultural fit of what it smells like and what we feel like and what's happening in the world, right? Like, it's very hard to catch a viral wave with perfumes, because they take between, well, I think the shortest you can make a perfume if you just take it off the shelf, maybe a year, but it's not going to be super original. So we pay for more than just the juice. We pay for the whole thing. We want it to be a story. We want people to give us a good narrative, the one that fits into the now and pleases us but surprises at the same time. We want that whole ceremonial complexity that is still simple enough that it fits into our biology of how we perceive scents, that hasn't changed much in a couple of 100 years. It's a very fine, it's a razor edge to walk. And when things like that flood the market, first you get surprised, like, oh, actually perfumes can last a long time and they can be very I've arrived. Fine. It has its place and time in our culture for sure. But then all of them smell very similar. all of them have almost universally not so pleasant, stinky bases. So even if it seduces you at the opening, you will regret it 3 hours in. And all of them, unfortunately, fit into this niche group of people who can't smell very well, so they don't have much of a perception delicacy to their noses, and maybe or therefore, I don't know if there's a causal link there, over apply their fragrances. So first, they can't smell very well, so it's almost surprising why would people like that be that much into perfumery. Fine. You can smell very much or very well. To me, it's kind of equivalent of constantly eating fast food or sugar, when you can't taste food anymore. So people like that, they keep searching for stronger and stronger, more concentrated scents. Eventually they arrive here, $30 a bottle, of something that you can spray morgues with. But then they over apply. And it's a disaster. This is why perfume community gets a bad rap among people who are not that much into it. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what to do about this. Like, this was this like typical sweet tobacco, prunes, hookah bar, vanilla, sweet upon sweet upon sweet, with some screechy bass. In a way, a genre. I'm glad I tried it once. I would never wear something like that. And it's just never really... There's something about this loudness that doesn't have depth. How can something be so rich and yet so shallow at the same time? I don't know. But a lot of Arabic perfumes land squarely in this area. I pretty much use it up as a diffuser, mixing with other perfumes that I don't particularly care about. That's that. And to me, spending even $10 on something like this is a waste of money. I'm not saying that you should do the same. I understand that people have budgets. In my view, a lot of things that I show you here are very budget friendly if you're aware on how to shop. And for that, I've diligently been spending time in adding links to most of my hauls and the last drops. So check them down below. There's a lot of great hidden places that I put down there that you can go and explore. But gosh, and also the whole thing about stealing somebody else's formula, lobotomizing it, making it into the least sophisticated but still recognizable replica. That's just offensive. It's offensive to me. Why? I have only one nose and one life. Why would you choose that versus a decant of something the original? Honestly, you get 5 ml of Acne Studios by Frederic Malle or Guidance 46. I'll leave links down below. Lifetime worth of impressions. Yeah, I don't know how long it will take you to use 5 ml of Acne. If you used up 5 ml of Acne and you still love it, can live without it, trust me, you will find that. You will find those $200-300 to buy a full price bottle, and that will last you till you die. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe you'll explain to me what's so amazing about it. Okay, here we're gonna stop. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was entertaining, maybe somewhat helpful, maybe it gave you some ideas, maybe it inspired you to open your own treasure chest and try a few cool things that maybe been collecting dust for a while. For me, the quest continues, so I hope you will join me, subscribe to this channel and like the video to continue the quests together, and I'll see you in the next one.